most of the times, the things that we struggle with are the things that we are well aware of. We know our own weaknesses, we know the trigger points, and we know exactly the consequence from that action. The guilt, the shame, the this is the last time, the please God, if you help me now, I'll never do it again. You know what I'm talking about. We've all been there. Quite recently, not even too long ago. But is that the vicious cycle you want to continue? Is that the vicious cycle that we want to continue? Don't we want better? Because operating like that denies you peace, that internal peace. Doing things that causes guilt and shame, those are the type of things that draws you further away from the ones that love you. Because now you need to hide certain things. You need to keep it a secret. And yet we know it's never good. But why do we repeat it? What do therapists say if we should go into Google and we say a repeat offender of things that make me feel shame and guilt? Why? At least this time, let's not consult Google or whatever search engine. Let's be honest with ourselves, because every time when you try to search something and try to get to the bottom of something that causes you to feel guilt or shame, you are going there subconsciously to find an excuse. There has to be something there, whether it's one line in between a multitude of things that says, well, this is the reason why you're doing it. And then in the midst of all of that, there's one sentence that says, but it could also be childhood trauma that causes that. And then we jump on that and we fabricate childhood trauma. We want there to be childhood trauma just so that we feel less guilty and less shameful. However, it doesn't eradicate the feeling of guilt or shame. And it is something that's going to haunt you when you close your eyes and you wake up. You'll be tormented by that vicious cycle. There needs to come a time where you just say, you know what, enough is enough. I've had enough. I can't go on like this. It's breaking my heart that every time I have to endure this guilt and shame, it's not getting better. But it's that instant gratification that we get and feel when we perform the act, whatever it is, whatever it is, that instant gratification. And then when the dust settles within your spirit and your soul, the guilt and shame pushes up. And at some point, you're going to start calling yourself worthless and speak those things into existence. And it becomes a snowball. It's you questioning your own self-worth, then depression, then anxiety, and it just keeps on piling up. And the more it keeps on piling up, the more it draws you away from your loved ones. And all of this is happening in the dark. Only you know of it. So you think. But by your actions, people will know that something is wrong. Because we tend to do certain things out of character. And sometimes we overcompensate to try and hide that darkness. You'll do something that causes those close to you be like, oh my goodness, okay. And they'll enjoy it, but those who know you really well will be like, what's going on here? Why the sudden change? Because it's not the big things people notice. It's the small things. And it's the small things that is the foundation of the relationship. And once you start messing with the foundation, questions will be asked. So, what do we do to stop this? First things first. Before we can be honest with others, we need to be honest with ourselves. We need to call ourselves out. And if we are lucky, we have one person that we can confide in and lay everything bare on the table. And by trusting this person, we know that they are not going to judge us for our transgressions, that they will listen. And only upon us asking them, hey, what is my next move? Only then will they speak. But you can't stay in that vicious cycle. It's going to eat you alive. It's going to deny you so many beautiful things that this life has to offer. Because your life will revolve around hiding the darkness. And by hiding the darkness, you will stay out of the light. Goodness from loved ones, joyous times, but the most important thing that you will lack, and that will move away from you further and further, is the peace. Peace is such a beautiful thing. Peace is such an underrated gift that we don't even know the magnitude of having that inner peace. Peace is the seed that gives birth to joy, happiness, contentment. That all boils down into focus. And you're like, Hein, how did you get from the seed being patience to joy to happiness to focus? Think about it. You plant that seed that will sprout and will bring forth happiness and joy. And that happiness and joy will cause you to be more focused. And this time around, you'll be focused on good things. Things that you can do out in the light. You don't have to hide it no more. You'll be filled with peace. And you will share that joy to everyone that comes in contact with you. Let us all chase that. Let me know what brings you peace and joy in the comments. Let's chop it up. Thank you so much. God loves you, and I love you.